There's some pretty crazy ways people are suggesting you to train on YouTube, whether it's shooting from inside your vehicle to underneath it, or spending thousands of dollars on reactive steel targets at your home shooting range, and telling you if you don't train that way, you're wasting your time shooting and you'll never be a Huya operator. Well, I have good news for you. You don't have to train like that. As fun as it may be to run circles around your shooting table or climb over obstacles, you certainly don't have to get good, effective training in. And quite frankly, most of us don't have access or money for that kind of training. With a couple of things from home, some understanding of ratios and proportion, so we can make every shot count. Today, we'll just need a ruler or tape measure, a pen, pencil, or marker. You will need access to a printer to get some targets, and you will also need a calculator from your cell phone. With that, we can go over and head to pistoltraining.com or whatever website of your choosing and print off some targets. Hands down, my favorite has to be the fast drill. It combines speed and accuracy, and it's a great drill to do every few months or so and to see how well you're progressing. However, when you print it off regular office printer paper, it's sized down just a little bit. We originally needed to print a target that had a 3x5 headshot box at 7 yards, but we printed something at 2.25 inches by 3.75 inches. This is where ratios and proportions come in. We need to do a little bit of math. We'll take one side for now. So let's use 2.25. We need to start with 7, our original distance, and we'll multiply that by 2.25 and divide that by a required size of 3. And that'll give us a final distance of 5.25 yards. To check the other side, we'll use 3.75. We'll multiply that by 7. We'll divide that by 5, and that'll also give us 5.25. So in the end, we can be 100% certain that if we train to shoot this target at 5.25 yards, we can guarantee we'll have the exact same results if we were to print that target correctly and set it up at 7 yards. Here's an easy way of remembering how to do the math if you get a new target or you want to experiment at a different distance at the range. First, let's take a look at these two ratios, 1/2 and 4/8. We can certainly agree that 1/2 is equal to 4/8 without confrontation. Let's put that side by side and put the equal sign right in between. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. Now you just remember, you multiply across first and divide afterward. It doesn't matter what side you put it on. Check it out. 4/8 is equal to 1/2. 8 times 1, 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Here's another favorite target of mine from T-Rex Arms. I really like to use this target when I'm training for transitions and plate recs. Because it has 3 different size circles, I can set it up at any given distance and still have the ability to train for the same size target at different distances without having to actually move my target back and forth. For instance, if I'm training to shoot at 5-inch targets, I can set this paper target at 5 yards, and although these circles are much smaller than 5 inches, through ratios and proportions, I would perceive a 5-inch circle from the smallest circle as if it were at 22.2 yards, the medium circle at 16.6 yards, and the largest circle at 13.3 yards. Or, if I'm training to shoot 8-inch A-zones, I can set this target up at 5 yards again and perceive that A-zone as if it were at 35.5 yards, 26.6 yards, and 21.3 yards. It can be a little confusing this way to figure out the size of the target since our distance is set, but the math is just the same. Here's how it looks. Just remember, size over yards is equal to size over yards. In this case, we'll be shooting our largest circle, which measures 1.875 inches. We'll set that over 5 yards. And we'll let those known factors equal our perceived size over perceived distance as well. In this case, we'll be shooting 8-inch circles. First, we'll start off with 5 times 8, and that'll equal 40. We'll divide 40 by 1.875, and that'll give us 21.3 yards. For this one, we'll be measuring our medium circle, which measures 1.5 inches. Go ahead and also do 5 times 5 is equal to 25. And we'll divide that by 1.5, and that'll give us a final distance of 16.6 yards. With a little help from some numbers, we now have effective and efficient training from printable targets. You don't need to go out and spend money on cardboard or steel targets. Another neat trick is if you're practicing for USPSA or IPSC, an A zone measure is 11 by 6-ish. You can either fold it 2.5 inches off the long side and you have a fairly accurate A zone, or you can use your fast drill that you printed off earlier. Conveniently, it's a 6-inch circle. When you flip it over, you can use the outermost edges of the circle as a guide to help you draw parallel lines down the side. You can either set it up at 7 yards and shoot off a bill drill, or set it up at 25 yards and see how well you track double taps on it. Your training world is your oyster with just a few printable targets. You can also kick things up a notch when you add a shot timing into your training to accurately measure your shooting speed. You'll be humbled very quickly. These targets are also a good way to practice your dry fire training. You'll be surprised to see how well you improve with effective and efficient training. Check out in the description below for the links to some of my other favorite targets. Comment, like, or subscribe, or not. Lastly, we don't have any weird closing slogans like shoot first, ask questions later, but we would just like to thank you for joining us today and have a great training day. See you next time, shooters.